Hey friends, Eric Welch. I want to make a little video here for you today to share with you some thoughts I had on how this crazy gel business and how we can take advantage of it. But before I do that, I know the team is growing so fast and there's a ton of great exciting things going on. If I haven't met you yet or you're not friends with me on Facebook, please find me there. It's at Eric F. Welch, E-R-I-C-F-W-E-L-C-H. And certainly connect with me there. I know a lot of great things are happening, so I'd love to be a part of it with you. But what I want to talk about today real quick is how do we get to potentially $1,000 a week or greater in 90 days? What would that look like? And I think sometimes we hear a lot about the compensation plan that we have here and the income's being made and the fact that there's no smoke and mirrors and that it's an actual 50% payout and that there's a lot of great things to be excited about, but it doesn't necessarily always translate into understanding what does it look like to get there. So I want to paint a picture of $1,000 a week just as an idea. Obviously, you could do $1,000 a day or whatever your goals are, but this will kind of give you a mindset or a picture on how to do that. Before we get into that too much though, I just want to say that one of the things that I think happens here is you have to recalibrate your expectations. If you've never done anything like this before, or if you have, either way, I think you need to recalibrate what we expect and what we see possible, because there's so many things different here that I think it's really necessary to kind of step back and kind of like assess our expectations of what's possible for us. We can be a part of a great growing company and exploding growth, but that doesn't mean you're necessarily getting a piece of it. So I want to share this with you today to make sure you can get the piece of this for you and have it change your life, not just be a part of it and not have it directly impacting you. So a couple things about our compensation plan. There's 5 main areas how we get paid. We're not going to get into details. That's not the point of this video. We're going to focus mainly on these 3 right here. We're not going to get into this a whole lot. And before I get into it also, we're going to talk numbers in here, but this isn't meant to be an income claim or a guarantee of anything. I'm meant to paint an example of if this happened, this is how the numbers fall, okay? So obviously it's dependent on, nothing's ever going to go according to an example. It's going to be just a rough idea. It's meant to paint a picture for you to know if you do this, what would possibly happen, right, based on how the numbers crunch. So that's kind of the point of the video here. And another thing is that we're going to use conservative numbers. I'm going to take the lowest possible scenario instead of the best possible scenario when we're walking through this, and I'll show you what that means. But it's important to remember because it could be very much better than what we're going to explain today, but we're going to take it down to the lowest possible instance in where it's possible to do that. So anyway, so let's get going here. So the first way is obviously with a gel, we have a tremendous product, right? It's an unbelievable product. The fact that the business is so exciting because the product, the market's never been, this story's never been told. It's an amazing experience people have when they get on it. There's an incredible story behind it. So all that leads into is obviously we're gonna have a lot of customers. So in this instance, let's say we have 20 customers, okay? That's gonna pay you $35 per customer, right? So that's $700. Let's say if that's happening a month, you could order more than 1 month, but let's just make it simple. $700 a month for 20 customers, okay? One of the key things here is that we have a 90% reorder rate, right? Historically, this is a long-term, 14-year track record here. And we're gonna talk numbers, but the compensation plan, really any compensation plan discussion to me is most relevant when you're looking at it through the lens of how easy is it to build volume and to keep volume, right? Can you get customers, can you get product sales, and do they stay? Or do you have to keep replacing them? Which is one of the biggest selling points of what we're doing is the fact that people love it, and the longer they're on it, they stay on it, right? The longer you're on it, the more the results compound in your body and amazing things happen. So this is a very easy to see how those 20 could stick and stay and maybe even share with friends just on a peer, sharing with your product experience with people. So that's part number 1, okay? And then let's move over here. The next big part is called team commissions. And we're gonna assume that you're at the coach rate, okay, for this example. And you would be by the end of, we get to this long whiteboard, you'll be at coach and you'll see how that is, okay? So in the binary, there's a cycle pay, right? And the cycle is created when you have 400 points on your lesser side and 600 points on your greater side, okay? And those points are, 1 bottle of our product is between 100 and 140 points. 100 points is if they're ordering as a customer. 140 points if they're ordering it as a distributor. Now here's an example where we're going to use the lowest number for our talking points here. We're going to use 100. So this would be 4 bottles and this would be 6 bottles in that instance, right? Well, when that happens, when you have 4 bottles and 6 bottles, it kicks out $60 commission to you every time that happens. That could happen once an hour, it could happen once a day, it could happen once a week, okay? Whenever that happens, whenever those purchases occur and it balances out to those numbers, $60 gets kicked out. So if we had 50 cycles times $60 is $3,000, okay? Now those 50 cycles could take days, or it could take weeks, it could take a month, right? Whatever it is. And cycles are paid weekly. Okay, so however many cycles happen during that week, it kicks out on that week. Okay, so just to give you an idea of what we're going to refer to things as monthly, but all the payouts come as weekly payouts. Now another part of this is retail customer volume. Okay, so we're talking 20 bottles in this example, and 20 customers could be more than 20 bottles, right? There could be husband, wife, or whatever, but 20 bottles at 100 points is 2,000 points. Okay, so going back to this example, this is always your limiting factor for what you're being paid in regards to the team commissions, okay? So the 400 points is the smaller of the two, so that's what's going to limit it. So if we divide 2,000 by 400, we get 5 cycles. 5 cycles times 60 is $300. So now you take $300 and you add it to the $700 you're making off the retail sale of customers, and that's $1,000 for getting 20 customers. If that's all you did, it's $1,000, let's say a month, right? If they're ordering every month, which people typically are going to. Pretty amazing, right? This is one of the things that really gets people's attention. So that, let's leave that alone. Let's go over here. Another bonus is called the tab bonus, team acquisition. It's bringing new people on your team, right? Who see the vision, see what you see. And if they come in and they order 1 bottle, you get paid 20. 4 bottles, you get paid 60. 8 bottles, you get paid 120, okay? So as we go through this example, we're gonna use a scenario where over this course of this period, we're talking about you bring in 8 people, 8 team partners to be with you. And 2 of them are going to come in at 1 bottle, 3 are going to come in at 4 bottles, and 3 are going to come in at 8 bottles. Okay, so if that was the case, the simple math here comes out to $580. Okay, and I know I'm talking fast. You can always pause this or look at the numbers. I just want to give you the big picture, and if you want to get into the details, I suggest you actually do your own math and create your own scenarios so it becomes more real to you, so it makes sense to you, and instead of just being entertained or watching me do something, own it, right? Just take the pencil out and use the basic idea, but create a different scenario for you that's relevant to you. So that's the tab bonus, okay? Now, when we get to how do we get to $1,000 a week, the scenario is going to be we're going to need 200 bottles being purchased on our lesser side and 300 bottles on our right side in the scenario we're looking at here. I'm going to call that 50 team people here and 75 people here. And why I say that is I'm going to make an assumption, and I think it's a pretty conservative assumption, is that 1 team member is equivalent to 4 bottles a month being used, purchased, etc. And that's going to come from a combination of 1 to 2 people in that family, right, using the product, as well as between 2 to 3 customers each. Now, obviously, we're using examples 20 customers, so 2 to 3 customers is very conservative, and I think the average household is going to use more than 1 bottle because they're going to have probably more than 1 person on the product. But let's just use that, 4 bottles a month per team member, right? So 50 team members, each using 4 bottles a month on average between them and their customers is 200, and 75 is 300, okay? So you get the idea there. So that's our kind of our baseline idea. So when we go over here, how do we get there? How do we get to 50 team members and 70? A key thing that's important to understand is that we don't have many instances in life where we have leverage, right? Most things in jobs or small business, it's you against the world. It's all on your shoulders. It's up to you to do everything. And if it's going to get done, if it's going to be, it's up to me, right? In this kind of business, if you're working as a team, which is why the team you're on is so incredibly important, because it's all about teamwork, because that's how this thing really grows, and that's how the numbers get so substantial, is because it's not just about you and what you can do. It's about what you start and what you help other people do. So when we get to this, let's say month 1, right? And we're gonna watch leverage in motion here. Let's say in this scenario, month 1, you're just getting going, you're excited, you're talking to people, and you sponsor 6 people, okay, in month 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then they start to bring their contacts to this story, and some people see it, and some people become customers, but these are just the people who see the business side of this thing, see the timing, see the opportunity here, okay? So there's 10 here, 15 here. Now again, 4 bottles each per person, right? So this is 40 bottles being created on your lesser side. 40 bottles is 10 cycles, okay? 10 cycles at $60 is $600. Pretty good start. Now, for bringing in those new team members, when they purchase their initial order, you also got those tab bonuses, the TAB bonuses. And so there's a one bottle, a 4, and an 8 bottle package, okay? So that would be $340. So if we add that together, it's $940 a month, plus there'd be some commission because you'd be picking up some customers along the way, because that's how some people want to start, right? Is they not see the business, but they're like, I for sure want to have that product, of course. Well, so let's just round that to approximately $1,000 a month. So we're off to a good start, but the key thing isn't what you're making in month 1 or month 2. It's about building momentum. It's about creating a wave of things starting to happen, right? Because success loves speed, and the speed of the leader is the speed of the team. So watch what happens here. Now we move to month 2, and let's just say that all doubled, right? The 10 on this team grew to 20. Now you didn't put anyone new in here, right? Now we're working with people, working with the team, helping them succeed. And then here's 30, right? So 15 goes to 30, okay? So as you can see, starting to build out, starting to fill out here. Well, that 20 creates 80 bottles here. So it's 20 cycles times 60 is $1,200 a month. Getting a little more interesting, right? And now let's factor in, we've gotten to our 20 customers, let's say at this point. And we got 20 customers, and remember how we had the 700 and the 300 we talked about earlier? Let's put that in here at 1,000. So now we have 1,200 plus 1,000 is 2,200. Getting good, right? Now let's go into month 3. So now we have 50 people in here, right? They're excited, they have goals, and they're looking to do things with this. So it's not just your effort. Now you have 50 people, right? So the compounding effect of this thing is like compounded interest, but it's like compounded human effort, compounded passion, compounded excitement, compounded relationships and influence and all those things that you just don't do in a traditional business. So watch what happens as it starts to pick up speed. So now let's go to this scenario where on this lesser side, we have 50, right? So 20 went to 50. If everyone just brought in 1, obviously 20 to go to 40. So we're starting to create a little more momentum than that. And so these groups start to grow out, they start to fill out, right? This person is number 8. Let's say you sponsor your 8th person. Here, and they're just getting started, so there's not a lot going on here yet, but this group is a little more mature, been here a little longer. And on this side we have 75, right? So we went from 30 to 75, right? Momentum's kicking in, right? So here's a group of 30, here's a group of 27, here's a 13 and 5. Now, I'm drawing it this way so you can understand it, but obviously because of the binary structure, a lot of these people would be underneath each other, and there'd be synergistic teamwork going on where they'd be helping each other, right? And there's all that excitement, all those things going on. But this person was responsible for the start of this team, but these people will be intermixed with these people, and that's how it works in the structure. So 50 people times 4 bottles, right, is 200 bottles here, okay? 200 bottles times 50 cycles at $60 is $3,000 now in that period of time, right? And we go back to our customer model, which is $1,000. So 3,000 plus 1,000 is $4,000. So now we're at $1,000 a week already. And we left out 2 of the biggest pieces of the comp plan that aren't as relevant maybe in month 1, month 2, but as time goes on, they're extremely relevant. Maybe as much as half of your income long term is going to come from coaching bonus and check match. And I'm not going to explain that right now because it's too complicated to get into exactly how they work. But in this scenario, I'd say 750 to 500, maybe 500 to 1,000, 1,200. In that range, it's going to be highly dependent on how your team and how things are going, and also a check match, okay? And see the comp plan for the specifics on that. But I'm just saying there's more money going on here, right? But we're not even going to factor that in. If we're already at $1,000 a month, just purely on the organic growth of this and nothing extraordinary happening in all these other areas, okay? So obviously we're talking $4,000 to $5,000+ a month, and that could happen very easily in a very short period of time, as you can see, because the momentum of it's not just about you and what you do. So let's take that scenario, let's extend it a little bit, right? Let's go into month 4, 5, 6, and beyond, right? Well, let's just take a very conservative version of, instead of 50 on the lesser side and 75, let's go to 150. Let's just simply double it one more time, and watch what happens. So now you have 100 cycles going on at $6,000 a month. You have our $1,000 from our customers. Now our coaching bonus and check match is going to start to really kick in, right? So now, let's say it's 1,000 to 1,500. Let's just, as an idea, 300 to 500 a check match, right? So now we're talking $8,000 to $9,000 a month. So if you take this exact number, just to make it an easy example, times 12 is $99,000. So $100,000 a year pays. In this scenario, you're talking 6 months or less, and you brought in 8 people and got 20 customers, and now you're helping everyone else do it. And the more this goes on, obviously there's people doing this already a week, or I mean, not a week yet, but certainly many people doing it a month. And so it's not, the numbers are big, but because of the compound effect of all these things going on and the product attractiveness is what makes these kind of numbers possible, right? If that number is a little big for you to think of in terms of monthly, it's a nice thing to think of in terms of yearly, and we're not talking years to get here, right? We're talking a very short period of time. So, in the end of the day, you have to look at it and say, well, okay, 50 people, 75 people, 20 customers, like how do I get there? Well, if we have 100 contacts and we talk to 5 people a day for 20 days, right? Compress the time frame, just make it short, just go. This thing is easier to build fast than it is to build slow. So out of those 100 people, all we're looking for in this scenario is in their first 60, 90 days is to find 20 customers and 8 team builders. Now there's 72 people left that you contacted. Some of those people, the timing wasn't right. They weren't in this place to hear it, or they watched you and they watched your success and you're having fun and doing great things. They join later, right? So obviously some of those 100 will be added to this list later, but we're just looking for this 20 and this 8 for our example today. The other thing is there's such a low resistance to what we're offering, right? This is a matter of just let people know that this is possible from a product perspective, from a business perspective. This is a huge business story that's unfolding, and there's very low resistance. So chances of having better results in this are quite high, and most people already have. But I just want to, like I said, be conservative here. How much time would this take, right? We're all too busy. No one needs an extra thing to do in their life. Well, if we have 5 contacts and you're contacting them simply and efficiently like we should be, let's say it's 3 minutes each just to start the conversation. So that's 15 minutes a day if we were going with this 5 per day, right? 5 follow-ups times 10 minutes, let's say, is 50 minutes. Now we've got an hour of just the basic building activities going on here in a day, right? Now, obviously, probably going to spend a little more time than that if you're really trying to go after this from a business perspective. But the point is, it's not super time intensive if we're doing it right. And if we go on a 90-day sprint, right? That was a 90-day example. If you go on a 90-day sprint, the reason people talk about that is because you build momentum. And then this very interesting kinds of things that people strive for, and this is what we're working for type of scenario, happen because of the momentum of all that stuff that's building upon itself, okay? So I want to kind of end here. Hopefully I wasn't talking too fast, but I know a lot of you are brand new to the team and you're joining, and if we haven't met yet, please, like I said earlier, just find me here and come, join the conversation, join the fun, and if you have any questions,